Hey everybody, getting ready to make some lunch. We're just going to have kind of a snacky kind of lunch. I'm going to make hummus with some naan bread, just something to hold us over until dinner time. So I figured I'd take you along for a ride because I'm going to make my hummus, which is, the recipe is a little bit different. It allows us to make it in bulk and freeze dry it because I'm not going to use any oil. And I'm not going to use tahini. I've got my own secret weapon that most people have in their kitchen, and if you don't have tahini, you can still make hummus. So follow along and I'll go over my recipe. Okay, we've got about 5 ingredients, give or take, depending on how you want to season things, but my base recipe is going to use chickpeas or garbanzo beans, whatever you want to call those, salt, cumin, crushed garlic, and lemon juice. And normally you'd use tahini, but today, as a substitute, we're going to use peanut butter. Okay, all of our ingredients are going to go into a food processor. And the first ingredient is going to be 1 standard size can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. This one is 15.5 ounces. Shrinkflation may have changed those measurements, but basically a can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. You're going to want to drain the aquafaba, the liquid, and rinse the beans before you put them in. Now, a quick tip, if you're vegan, which I'm not, but as a vegan substitute, the liquid that comes with chickpeas or garbanzo beans is called aquafaba, and it can be used as an egg white substitute. So you may want to save the liquid for other recipes. Just a little tip. I dump it down the sink. I think it's disgusting. The next ingredient is going to be 1/2 of a teaspoon of cumin, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and you can use iodized salt or non-iodized salt. That doesn't matter. 2 tablespoons of crushed garlic. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And you can see how accurately I measure. I don't think it really matters. And then you're going to use, and you can either make it traditionally with 1/3 of a cup of tahini. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of peanut butter. Now, if you rather use a peanut butter substitute like sunflower butter, you can go ahead and do that. And the reason why there's a lot less peanut butter than there would be tahini is peanut butter has a much stronger flavor. Tahini is a sesame seed butter or paste or cream, whereas peanut butter is obviously peanuts. So I'm going to get a lid on this. We're going to blend this all up until it's creamy, and then I'll bring you right back. Okay, I'm just going to check this real quick. My food processor is not great at pasting this stuff, so I'm just going to clean off the edges and then put the lid back on and keep it going. Okay, what you want to do is just keep checking it. Mine is a little dry for my taste, so what you can do is add 1 teaspoon of water at a time. Don't add too much water because it'll get wet really fast and it'll ruin it. But add 1 teaspoon at a time and then continue processing this. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you may be able to use a blender. I haven't tried it myself. But if somebody else out there wants to give that a shot, go right ahead and then let us know how it worked out for you. Okay, and yeah, and that looks good and tastes perfect. I ended up having to add about 3 teaspoons of water to get the consistency correct. And that may vary. Sometimes I don't add water at all. Sometimes I have to add up to a tablespoon. It depends on how dry the beans are. And chickpeas, garbanzo beans in a can are very inconsistent. So sometimes you can get wetter beans and sometimes the beans are very, very dry. And today I had fairly dry beans. But either way, just add water until it's the right creaminess. Basically, I guess softer than butter. I don't know. To your liking. And give it a taste. Decide whether or not you want a little more salt, a little more garlic. I like it the way it is. This is a great base. And from this, if you wanted to make a flavored hummus, you can always add sun-dried tomatoes or roasted peppers or whatever else you want to add as a flavor or as an ingredient. Normally what I do is I just scoop this into a Tupperware that we can throw in the fridge. This will refrigerate for a couple of weeks. Usually doesn't last that long. Me and Marilyn are probably going to polish this off just this afternoon for lunch. But I'll put it in a bowl and I'll dust it with some smoked paprika and we'll be right back with you. So now that the hummus is all set, we can have our lunch. I'll have Marilyn. She's had this before, but I'm going to have her give you her opinion. We added some smoked paprika and I garnished it with a little bit of chives because got to have a good picture for the gram.
Well, I guess it's my turn to be the taste tester. It's usually the other way around. Let's give this a try.
How would you describe it?
I like the flavor. To me, it doesn't have a super big difference in flavor from when you use tahini. It's still a good flavor. Now, of course, if you're allergic to peanut butter, you're not going to want to use peanut butter.
Now, you can leave the peanut butter out completely. It doesn't add enough of oil that it'll mess up freeze drying. But if you want to leave it out completely, then it'll have 0 oils in it. So it'll probably be a little better for you. It won't taste like a traditional hummus if you leave out that nutty flavor, but you can do that and it's still good. And then depending on what you want to add for flavoring, like if you want to make a flavored hummus, you may not even miss that nutty flavor. So anyway, give it a shot. Change up the recipe, or if you have a really good recipe for hummus, let us know down in the comments. And if you like the video, go ahead and share it with somebody else who might like it. Give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And
until next time, everybody, take care.
Bye.